Hidden inside warehouses colder than the Arctic, an invisible empire moves. 4.9 million tons of slippery, delicate fish roe, crisscrossing continents in a race against time. It's a global relay with billion-dollar stakes and the tiniest cargo imaginable. Fish roe, tiny, glistening eggs collected from species like salmon, trout, herring, and the legendary sturgeon, might seem small and unassuming, yet in the culinary world, they command colossal respect. Some roe, like bright orange, salmon eggs, crown sushi rolls, and gourmet dishes. Others, like jet black beluga caviar, can sell for more than $10,000 per kilogram, making them more valuable than gold by weight. But while their culinary prestige is sky high, their survival outside the water is a constant race against nature. Each egg is a tiny sphere of vulnerability, a soft membrane encasing a rich pocket of proteins, oils, and minerals. Expose it to a tiny spike in temperature, a subtle shift in humidity, a change in air pressure, and the structure collapses. Texture degrades, color fades, and with that, the market value plummets. To the naked eye, it might look like ordinary seafood, but in reality, fish roe is one of the most sensitive and demanding food products ever transported at scale. In places like Russia's Volga River Basin, Norway's fjords, Japan's coastal villages, and Canada's remote fisheries, the cycle begins at harvest. Roe is carefully extracted, often by hand, from freshly caught fish. Speed is critical. From the moment it's harvested, the clock is ticking. Within just a few hours, the eggs must be washed, sorted, and chilled to near freezing temperatures, not frozen, because ice crystals would rupture the delicate membranes, but cold enough to dramatically slow down bacterial growth and chemical decay. Specialized chilling rooms blast cold, sterile air over trays of roe, keeping temperatures precisely between 1 to 0 °C. Workers in thermal suits monitor the process constantly, ensuring each batch stabilizes without freezing solid. From here, the packaging becomes a science of its own. Roe destined for international markets is layered in food-grade, vacuum-sealed containers designed to minimize oxygen exposure. For luxury-grade caviar, every container is lined with non-reactive metals to avoid altering flavor. Once packaged, the trip becomes a global relay race. Trucks with built-in refrigeration units rush the cargo to airports or seaports. From there, it's loaded into cold chain logistics systems, a tightly controlled network where temperature monitoring never stops. High-end roe shipments often fly aboard dedicated temperature-controlled planes, complete with backup systems to maintain exact conditions mid-flight. Even turbulence is accounted for. Sensitive batches are cushioned with shock-absorbent gel packs to prevent rupture during air bumps. And time is the ultimate enemy. Every delay, whether at customs, loading docks, or transit hubs, shaves critical hours off the product's shelf life. A missed flight connection in Frankfurt or Tokyo doesn't just cause inconvenience, it can wipe out thousands of dollars in inventory. So why go through all this effort for something so delicate? Because demand is unstoppable. From Michelin-starred restaurants in Paris to luxury retailers in Dubai, the hunger for premium fish roe keeps growing. Consumers are willing to pay staggering prices for freshness, flavor, and quality. And the only way to deliver that promise is through precision, speed, and a level of coordination that rivals any high-end supply chain in the world. But how exactly do they prepare roe for this dangerous trip? What happens inside those freezing rooms? And what secrets make the difference between $1 million shipment and a ruined one? Before fish roe can embark on its global travel, it must survive a meticulous, multi-step preparation process designed to maximize its freshness, texture, and flavor. It all starts at the moment of harvest. Within minutes of being extracted from the fish, the roe is gently rinsed to remove blood, membranes, and impurities. This initial wash is done using chilled, sterile water, ensuring that no bacterial contamination can take hold. Every second, matters. Delays at this stage can begin the irreversible breakdown of the eggs. Next comes the grading phase. Skilled workers, often with years of experience, sort the roe based on size, color, firmness, and uniformity. In premium markets, a single off-color egg can downgrade an entire batch. For caviar producers, this step is sacred. Eggs are selected, not only for appearance but also for their pop, the slight burst felt when the egg is pressed gently between tongue and palate. Curing follows immediately. Here, the roe is either lightly salted or, for high-end varieties, dry cured in special brine solutions tailored to each species. Salt acts as a natural preservative, enhancing flavor while extending shelf life without damaging the delicate membranes. Achieving the perfect salt concentration is a fine art. Too little salt, and the roe risks bacterial spoilage. Too much, and it overwhelms the natural buttery flavor prized by chefs and consumers. Once cured, the roe undergoes a second washing and is laid out to drain. Any excess brine must be removed to prevent further curing beyond the desired taste profile. At this point, the texture of the roe reaches its critical threshold. Firm but tender, glossy without being slimy. Packaging is the final line of defense. Each batch is vacuum sealed in sterile containers engineered to eliminate oxygen exposure and maintain cold integrity. For the highest-end shipments, roe is packed into tins lined with inert materials like pure gold or food-grade stainless steel, preventing any chemical reaction that might alter taste. In larger operations, automated vacuum packers are calibrated to delicate settings, preventing the crushing or compression of the eggs. Each container is labeled with precise traceability information, harvest time, cure batch, processing facility, and shipping timeline. Finally, the RO is moved into cold storage, where it waits no longer than 24 to 48 hours before being dispatched. The temperature here is obsessively maintained between which were degrees Celsius and 0 degrees Celsius. Sensors embedded throughout the storage rooms constantly monitor and record temperature fluctuations. Any deviation beyond 0.5 degrees triggers an automatic alarm and immediate corrective action. Only after passing these rigorous steps is the RO considered ready for transport. It has survived extraction, cleaning, grading, curing, and packaging without losing its prized qualities. But even with all this precision, the path ahead is fraught with new dangers. How do logistics teams ensure that fish roe crosses thousands of miles without succumbing to time, turbulence, or temperature shifts? The next phase is the ultimate cold chain operation, one that leaves no room for error. Once the fish roe is sealed and secured, the real test begins. Moving it across continents without a single misstep. Every stage of the trip is a battle against time, temperature, and unforeseen delays. The operation starts at the processing facility, where refrigerated trucks, pre-chilled to match storage temperatures, are loaded with extreme caution. Workers move the sealed containers quickly but gently, ensuring that the cargo's internal temperature remains undisturbed. In less than 15 minutes, the shipment is secured and the trucks depart for their next destination, the international airport or seaport. These are not ordinary cargo vehicles. They are outfitted with dual refrigeration systems, GPS tracking, and temperature monitoring sensors that send real-time data back to control centers. If a truck's internal temperature rises by even half a degree, dispatchers are immediately alerted and corrective actions are deployed. At airports, time is the enemy. Customs inspections, security checks, and cargo loading procedures can introduce critical delays. To mitigate this, exporters use specialized, priority perishable shipping services. Shipments are fast-tracked through inspections and are loaded last, just before the aircraft departs, minimizing exposure to ambient temperatures. The aircraft themselves are marvels of modern logistics. Wide-body jets, often modified for perishable cargo, maintain a controlled environment throughout the flight. Some shipments even utilize temperature-controlled unit load devices, insulated containers equipped with active cooling systems that operate independently of the aircraft's systems. For long-haul flights, in-flight monitoring teams continuously track cargo conditions. Advanced sensors inside the containers report temperature, humidity, and shock data in real time. If any metric veers outside the tight acceptable ranges, ground teams at the arrival destination are prepared to react immediately. Maritime transport, though slower, is another critical component. Specialized refrigerated vessels, known as reefers, carry large volumes of roe across oceans, maintaining precise temperatures throughout weeks-long voyages. These ships have backup power systems, redundant refrigeration units, and highly trained crews specialized in perishable cargo handling. Despite the precautions, the danger never disappears. Mechanical failures, weather disruptions, bureaucratic delays at customs, all can erode the delicate margin of safety. Upon arrival, the race continues. Cargo handlers swiftly transfer shipments into refrigerated storage or trucks for final distribution. In bustling hubs like Tokyo, New York, or Paris, entire systems are designed to ensure that within hours of landing, roe can appear at premium. Retailers, restaurants, or auction houses. Each travel is a fragile victory, a battle fought not with weapons, but with cold air, precision technology, and relentless vigilance. But even after reaching its final destination, fish roe faces one last critical hurdle. How can retailers and restaurants preserve its peak quality until the moment it reaches the customer's plate? The answer lies in a final layer of innovation few outside the industry ever see. Even after crossing thousands of miles, fish roe remains extremely fragile. Every moment outside strict temperature control risks degrading its quality. To maintain the product's premium value, final stage handling must match the same precision seen throughout the earlier stages. When shipments reach distribution centers, they undergo immediate inspection. Quality control specialists verify the internal temperatures of containers, check vacuum seals, and conduct random sample assessments. Any batch showing slight defects in texture, color, or aroma is rejected without hesitation. In luxury markets, expectations leave no margin for error. From there, roe enters localized cold chain systems. Refrigerated vans, specially equipped to maintain temperatures within narrow limits, move the product to retailers, restaurants, and specialty outlets. Rapid transfers minimize any exposure to ambient conditions. Premium retailers and fine dining establishments often invest in their own dedicated storage systems. These facilities use calibrated humidity control, UV filtration, and insulated storage to safeguard the RO's freshness. Some even implement vibration dampening technologies to prevent physical stress that could compromise delicate membranes. At the restaurant level, handling is equally meticulous. Roe remains sealed in its vacuum-packed container until the exact moment it is plated. Chefs inspect the eggs by sight and touch, evaluating color uniformity and the signature firmness that indicates peak quality. Timing becomes critical. Once a container is opened, the roe's exposure to oxygen accelerates the breakdown of flavor and texture. High-end establishments often serve opened roe within a matter of hours, and if not used, it is resealed immediately or discarded. 2. Extend freshness. Some retailers and restaurants use modified atmosphere packaging. By replacing oxygen with inert gases such as nitrogen, they slow oxidation without compromising taste. Emerging technologies like high-pressure processing are also being tested to enhance shelf life while maintaining sensory integrity. Despite technological advances, the best roe is always that which is handled swiftly, stored under exacting conditions, and consumed at the peak of its natural freshness. Each egg that maintains its quality until the moment of consumption represents the coordinated work of hundreds of specialists operating unseen behind the scenes. However, the growth of global demand for fish roe has triggered broader changes. New aquaculture techniques, environmental regulations, and sustainability efforts are now reshaping an industry that once depended almost entirely on wild catch. Growing demand for fish roe has reshaped the seafood industry. To meet rising consumption, Producers have shifted from wild harvesting to aquaculture, where controlled environments optimize yield and quality. Farms carefully regulate water temperature, nutrition, and breeding cycles to produce roe year-round without stressing wild populations. At the same time, stricter sustainability standards now govern production and transport. Certified operations must prove they protect ecosystems, minimize pollution, and handle fish responsibly. Innovations in shipping are also changing the landscape. New materials maintain cold temperatures without relying entirely on mechanical refrigeration, while blockchain systems track every batch from harvest to sale, offering greater transparency. As technology advances, balancing efficiency with environmental responsibility becomes critical. Behind every tin of roe lies a complex system where precision, speed, and sustainability define success and the future of this delicate global trade. Behind every tin of fish, roe lies a global system built on precision, speed, and relentless care. As technology and sustainability reshape the trade, one question remains: what other hidden industries operate with such fragile stakes? Click the next video on your screen to find out.